Hey guys,
Alden Skeetus.
things are different now. Wait, how's that for a cold
That's
open?
the theme of the episode. That's a good cold open.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And then it goes, "Ah, ah." You should license out News from Bed to other countries like Sesame Street did in that last episode we did.
Yeah.
But like in like the Middle East, it would be like, and it has like a sepia tone over it.
yeah.
Like it's a little yellow.
Yeah, and like Africa, it's like ooh ah, ooh ooh ah, ooh. yeah.
In China, it's like one of those little like one string
like,
instruments.
Bing, bring, bang, bang, boing, and then just like
A gong.
Yeah.
In Australia, it's it's a didgeridoo.
yeah. That would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. And in Mexico,
It's
mariachi band.
It's just the sound of gunfire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool, dude. Yeah, so I told you I broke my no-fap streak.
Yeah, thanks for telling me.
I learned something. I learned something important though.
Oh, okay. You need a bigger boat.
Yeah, we're gonna need a bigger boat. I learned that it has really no positive effect on my life.
Afterwards, you were like, well, I don't feel that much
Afterward,
different.
I was actually productive. And I started like working on that trading card game like a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So really it was all just a stupid distraction. I guess the good point of it was I proved to myself that I could do it. I made it 58 days, which is pretty good. It would be funny if I named the amount of days and you lined it up to where it was immediately after News from Bed podcast.
Or immediately before.
Yeah.
I was really relaxed.
It was really
on that
loose.
last.
But,
Yeah, I mean, I've done shit like that before. Like, I've given up things that I didn't have to. Are we recording? We're good, right?
yeah, we're good.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
I just very casually began. I just
yeah.
wow, I feel like we're in Mark Maron's garage right now.
I know.
But I gave up drinking for a full year, and I was like, I didn't have a problem with drinking. I had a problem with smoking weed, and I just did that more. It just made my problem worse.
I think it made me want to get back into drinking a little bit.
What, not fapping?
Not fapping. I mean, for the sake of like dating and socializing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I'm learning you're kind of just an outcast if you don't drink like one beer.
Why did you stop drinking to begin with?
I was like very depressed. It was
Okay.
like but it had like other factors. And
What year?
It was like 2021, 2020, maybe the beginning of 22. I don't remember.
It might have been 22.
Yeah, because it's been 3 years. So
Yeah,
22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what were the other factors? Like, what were the reasons you quit it to begin with? Because I don't think, I actually didn't really know you as well when you were drinking. I mean, we met at Gold Sounds.
Yeah.
For the weekly show, and you would come around, and I would never be like, "The Patty's all fucked up." Like,
No,
I don't think I've
was-
ever seen you drunk.
I was really good at being drunk and not appearing drunk. Because I would just be like a better version of myself.
Right.
I would just be nicer. I'd be more social. I would never be sloppy. I was never like the kind of drunk that would like go out into the street and like rub their dick on a car or something. And be like, look at this.
Yeah. That's the worst guy to be friends with, too. Like a drunk guy who's just like either starts fights or like gets into tussles or gets into like problems.
I was never that guy. I was always like very docile. The most like egregious thing I would do was like if I saw like a homeless guy, I would like give him like a cigarette.
Right.
And that's like very kind.
I do that when I'm sober.
Yeah.
Get these things away from me. I don't need all of them. Yeah, no, I had a buddy who got drunk once, and this is a small thing, but we were walking in the city, and he did something to someone's car. He either like humped their car or like, I don't think he like fully flailed on it, but he touched someone's car, and it was in front of a fire station. And one of the firemen came out, and he was like, "You like touching people's cars? You don't even. That's my car. What are you touching my car for?" "Oh, I'm sorry." Like it was like I don't want to be in this situation.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't have done that to begin with.
No, just don't.
And that
touch
friend
other
was
people's
Caleb from
stuff.
Boy. I don't know why I'm protecting his identity here. He's a public person.
Yeah, well, that's like not even that bad.
No,
of a
there's way
story.
worse things. I mean, you have worse stories that I've heard about other people that we've known.
Yeah,
Like
I
get
mean,
into fights. But I just think like if you are thinking about it, I mean, it's like I stopped drinking for a year and it kind of changed drinking for me forever because what I was trying to break out, I think I stopped drinking for like all of 23. I think I stopped drinking for all of 23 because I didn't like that, like I had graduated college, drank a lot towards the end of college, then like moved home with my mom for like 8 months, and then would go out and I was working at Starbucks and working at a radio station, and I would just spend all my money on drinking out with my friends.
Yeah.
And then I moved to New York, COVID, sat in the house alone on Long Island, drank like 2 cases of White Claw a week, and then moved into the city with some friends who also drank way more than I ever did.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I just had gone through like a consistent amount of like probably like 3 or 4 years of just drinking nonstop and having it be like essential to the socializing. And I had already given up meat at that point. I didn't eat meat for 4 years. And I was like, well, I'll just give up drinking too.
So you just had like a belly full of like booze and veggies.
Yeah, I had chickpeas and vodka. It's a great combo. Ferments in your stomach.
Yeah.
But when I gave it up, I came back to drinking again, and I was like, I can just have one beer. Like I think it does in a way, like you said with like jerking off, it does in a way affect your ability to do the other stuff.
It does. Like because
go back to it
the whole time, and I learned this: don't try to edge if you have, if you haven't jerked off in 58 days.
That's what you really learned,
because there's no such thing. But yeah, it just kind of reminded me that like you can make these big things in your life, but like ultimately the joy comes from, I don't know, like
balance.
It comes from other people and like living just a life that is like fulfilled. And sometimes you can
your
get
nuts
that
were fulfilled with cum.
They were fully filled. But what do you,
I don't know. It's not sitting right today. Is this your pillow? This one's too soft. This one's too hard.
There's because like say I do, because I think I could be like
This
the
is cum
one
protector pillow.
one beer kind of guy and like go to like a club or something.
Right. You don't want to
Because
go
it's
to a
like
club.
not even a nightclub, just like like say
comedy
it's like a
club?
pickleball club,
Oh.
and everyone plays pickleball, and then afterward you go to the bar.
Like when you played in a dodgeball league.
Well, yeah, I was in a kickball league,
Kickball league.
and then afterward,
Better than dodgeball league.
yeah,
I always get picked last in my adult dodgeball league.
yeah, probably because you're the size of a SUV, you're easy to hit. But there was like always a like afterward they would go out and it would be like a drinking event. It would be flip cup and like competitive flip cup to the point where it counted towards your season stats.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And our team was the best at flip cup, and we were like
do that
middle
in,
of
like,
the
other
road.
sports.
Yeah.
Like in the NFL, it's like, well, your whole team actually made it the whole season without beating their wife or girlfriend.
Yeah.
So you actually get a couple extra
You
bonus
get a
stats.
bonus.
Wow.
Oh yeah, you get a couple extra like passing yards.
Yeah, they
Because you passed
some
on hitting your
yards
wife.
some yards past hitting your wife.
But yeah, so it was like I would just go there and just stand there with like a cup of water and just not talk to anyone, because I was just like, I'm the guy who's just like, hey, you appear to be the guy that if they get like a sniff of booze, they're gonna like rip all their clothes off and like.
Yeah, I also learned not drinking, like going to like parties or social events or going out to the bar. Like you're just hanging out, drinking like a Coke. You're sitting there, and then for me, it was like I go outside, then I smoke weed. Now everyone's treating me differently.
Yes,
because people still, for some reason, don't just treat weed like what it is, which is just like a little.
Yeah.
If I'm smoking, I don't smoke like every day anymore. I don't like purchase weed. I don't keep it around. If someone offers me something, I'll smoke some, which is like every 3 weeks or something.
Right.
But like when I would smoke every day, it's like I'm just like getting a little bit. Ooh, it's like a 3 beer kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's not like I'm not like experiencing a drug. Sometimes people who aren't like weed people treat it like shrooms.
Yeah, you feel
how many fingers am I holding up?
Yeah, you feel like you're a cop.
Yeah,
they give you like the cop look. But it's also that like if everyone at an event is drinking, like they go onto this wavelength that when you're not drinking, it's like miserable to be around them.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's like even a couple of beers, you can kind of level with someone, you know? Because I've been the kind of guy who will get like relatively drunk, and someone will be like blackout drunk, and I have the inherent patience to handle them, because I'm like, that could have been me easily in like a couple of shots.
Right.
We took this journey together,
Right.
so it's like, if I'm gonna ride the Oregon Trail, like I might as well die of dysteria.
It does help you pick up girls, like get girls' numbers and shit.
Yeah, I get
like,
enough strength to actually lift
your
up
stat bar.
the heavy ones.
It's a quick time event.
Oh! Yeah, and it's just like it's a more comforting thing, because like
You're fitting in.
You're fitting in. I just don't know. I think it's going to be the Ryder Cup when I do it. But at that, it's going to be like...
You're going up north for that, right?
Yeah, and all my friends are going to want me to get like fucking trashed.
Right. Don't.
So I don't think I can.
Right.
I think
it'll make you sick.
I think it'll make me sick. I'll feel terrible.
Also, you'll be outside all day.
But maybe like a big, like a bruisey, drunk kind of night. You know, the next day...
You want to get bruised?
I want to get bruised.
Really?
Yeah.
Not boozy.
I'm just getting
bruisey.
pelted with golf balls.
Oh, Tiger, stop. Oh,
Tiger. And like maybe my hangover will be bad enough that I'll
Never
be
do it
like,
again.
I did that. I knew I didn't like it. Now I'm just a one beer Charlie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I didn't drink much after, and then I moved down here, and like a lot of my friends didn't drink too much by the end of it in New York. Like, I mean, we would get some beers and like sit down and like have like work on something or go to a show and like, drink and shit. But as far as like getting fucked up, like that seems like immature. That's what seems like in a way like childish or something. Because like that's where you get into like some trouble. I think is when you're like not being conscious of how much you're drinking.
Yeah,
and then you just start like getting it. Like it gets away from you. And in New York, you don't have to drive. Down here, everything's like
I know
I can't drink that much because I have to drive.
It would be pretty ironic if I decide to drink in the city that I have to transport myself around. Like I spent 3 years in New York just not taking advantage of that like beautiful system. But New York is also, it's so, everything is designed around it, you know, like
Drinking?
that's so it's easier to just get out of hand with that. Like where here it's like I kind of just live the life of like John McAfee, you know, like I just sit on my computer most days and I don't need to like booze up doing that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I'll get back into it a little bit.
I'll go to like a comedy club or something and I'll get a beer. Like sometimes, like most of the time you get a free beer with your show and you'll just do that. And that's like a decent, like, okay, I got like a beer. Like I'll just have like one little treat.
Yeah.
So you get something that you like. You get something that's like not going to get you fucked up. Like not like a 17% IPA. You just get like a tasty little brew.
Yeah.
Like I have St. Pete Brew tonight. I'm going to go over there. You get a free beer. It's a craft beer bar. So I get something like weird that I like a Hefeweizen.
Is that a Matthews show?
Bob.
Is he the guy who remembered me?
Yeah, Bob remembered you, and you don't remember Bob.
Well,
I put a picture of you on my Instagram. Bob texted me and said, "Is Patty living here now?" So he knew you by name.
Where would I have ever met this guy?
We met him at the Sunshine Comedy Fest.
Do you remember, like, specifically where?
Standing outside the Floridian, which is like that.
Oh, okay.
Downtown.
So it was him. It was Forrest.
I think so.
But like, when would he have seen me do comedy?
I don't know. This is the thing. I did a 10-year retrospective podcast episode with my buddy Mike of the podcast that we did when we were in high school. And one of the things we talked about is how everybody just loves you and it pisses us off. Because like everyone like loves Patty. Like guys, you don't even know News for Better New York. Everyone like Patty would walk into a room, you'd think he was like sucking everyone's dick or something. Like, oh my God.
I secretly was.
Pat, oh my God, Pat. Like everyone loved Patty.
That's why I quit drinking.
And I think like when I think about it logically, I do think it was like you hosted a mic at the shop.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of guys met you through that. And
met a lot of guys there.
Not to undercut all the nice things about you. I'm just saying like why everyone knew you.
Yeah.
And my conclusion with Michael on the podcast was like, yeah, I just have to like stand near Patty. Like in New York, it was like, I guess nobody treats me like this, but I'm just going to stand by Patty. And
I think it was because like there were a lot of open mics where I would kind of like lose my temper, so to speak, and just turn on the entire mic. And just bomb like historically bad, And I just didn't give a shit about that. I was just like, this is fucking gay.
There is like a respect in stand-up too.
Yeah.
To like when you like someone the other night.
It's all terrible comics, by the way.
Yeah,
there's no like
even Kiwi.
There's no like Kiwi is great. Kiwi is very funny, very underrated. Levi's great. Michael's great, but it's a lot of
what
like
about me?
It's a lot. Of course, you're great. But there's a lot of like people who really like me, who like if you saw them do stand up, you'd be like, they should quit immediately,
right?
You know, so it's like it's a lot of those people,
right?
And then, but like anyone who's like H. Foley saw me do comedy, did not like it at all.
Really, Foley? Where?
H. Foley. I didn't open for him, but I went up before him at Brooklyn Comedy Club one time. And this was like when I was a foot out the door. You know, I was so high. I got really high because I was like, oh, we're going to hang out at this club. When do you ever get thrown up at a club? Like never.
Once a year.
Once a year, if that. And I was with Levi and Talal, and they were like, yeah, we need like some comics. And I was like, take these guys or whatever. And they're like, 3 comics were missing. So they're like, get up there, Patty. So I went up and it went like, okay. But I did that like blowing Hitler's dad joke at the end.
I like that joke.
And yeah, it did fine. It wasn't
my favorite line in that joke is when you go, but I'm a child because the time machine was made out of wood.
Yeah,
like that's like
nobody laughs at
that's
that
like
either.
The best part of the joke. Like it's just a little aside. Like why did and you go on a mini tangent about why you would build a time machine.
Why would I do it out of wood?
That's really good.
But like then I did that and I ended and got off and like I had to like squeeze by like a 2-week deep Ozempic H. Foley. So it like
you garbage.
Hey buddy, well,
you garbage, Patty.
That was trash. But then he gets up and he's like, Jesus fucking Christ, what the fuck was that? Like, what was that? And I was just sitting in the back like stoned and I was like, fuck you, H. Foley.
Whoa, dude. What is it with like older fat comics that can't follow you?
I honestly...
It's Kevin Farley.
Yeah.
Kevin Farley and H. Foley.
They have to have a last name that starts with an F.
Yeah, and have Lee at the end.
Yeah, it was those... I've had that happen with those 2 comics, and then there was this one black comic who I forget his name, but he was like Instagram famous. And he kind of did the same thing after that, where he was like, "Gee, whoa, what do I do?
You're set, you fucking idiot."
Yeah. And it's not like it bombs. It's like a funny kind of like whoa joke, you know.
Yeah.
But they just have a hard time. So now like H. Foley is on my shit list. And I met Kevin Ryan, and Kevin Ryan is very nice.
Is that the other one?
Yeah. I met Kevin Ryan.
I know H. Foley and his little friend. That's what I always think. I never learned the other guy's name.
He's the little friend. I bet he would have been like, Jesus Christ, this guy. He's got some kind of yapper on him.
Yeah, that guy blew Hitler.
Wow. Bing, bang, boom.
I'm the little guy.
I'm the little guy.
He's like Cornelius Fudge or whatever. What's that little rat that's sitting next to Jabba?
Peter Pettigrew?
No, it's like a little rat guy that's sitting next to Jabba.
It's not Cornelius Fudge, the Minister of Magic.
Oh, I'm sorry to disrespect the Minister of Magic.
The most classic Minister of Magic line in the history of Harry Potter. He's back. You remember that? That's like his only line in the entire...
I remember being a little bit confused by some of the Harry Potter movies as a kid. Like, you remember the 4th one where Mad-Eye Moody is like the guy's son the whole time?
Yeah.
And like, I didn't really get that where the way the movie... I mean, it's a very obvious reveal as an adult, but I remember being a kid being like, okay, I guess how was I supposed to know that's his son? And it's like, well, they show the son acting exactly how Mad-Eye Moody acts.
Yeah.
I don't know. You ever go back and watch a movie? Oh, we watched Memento after last pod.
We did.
Yeah,
and I'm still trying to figure out how we do a Memento podcast.
Oh, that would be crazy. The podcast happens backwards.
Yeah, I think it would have to start with like it would have to obviously start with the end where something happens,
which is me driving home,
which is you driving home and being like, what did I do today? And like maybe somehow throughout the podcast I get you to act like say some really like racist stuff.
Okay.
And maybe
you don't have to try that hard.
Yeah, maybe like it ends with or it begins with like you looking at your phone and like all of these like Chinese immigrants are like really mad at you or something. and you're like, what could have happened? And then it like works its way back.
And you see what I did by the end.
And then it gets to the beginning where like at the end of the podcast, it's the beginning where you knock on the door and you're like looking at a photo of me. And I'm like wearing like a rice farmer hat and like I'm just pretending that I'm like super Chinese to get you to like
do it,
be more comfortable. Yeah.
Right. Do I have short-term memory in the lore of this, or I'm just doing this?
I think you should have short-term memory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, where am I?
But how we would? It's like a really tough one.
Yeah.
Kudos to Christopher Nolan.
Hey, great job, Christopher Nolan.
Oh, speaking
what that
of,
guy's up to.
I know. Speaking of Christopher Nolan, it got me down like a little bit of a tangent. I watched Inception the other night, and I had this thought that first of all, Ellen Page at the time. This is Ellen Page at the time is stunning in this movie. Isn't she like so beautiful?
Yeah, she's a cutie.
She's like a cute little girl who's like brilliant. She does a great job in this movie. And I had the thought, like, this movie is about a dream within a dream. And Ellen Page, in a way, during this movie, was a man within a woman.
Whoa.
You know? So she kind of was incepted anyway. Like, you know, like she had kind of the same experience as this movie.
Transception.
Yeah, exactly.
When you transition from a woman to a man, but when you're the man, you want to be a woman again.
Right.
It's a trans within a trans.
Right.
It's like a Russian doll.
Well, maybe then like the arc of her career is that she's going to actually be a man all along. Because you know how like that happens a lot of times. There's a lot of like, a lot of people detransition.
Right.
And I don't know like what the stats are on that, but I think it's like 25%.
Really?
Yeah, it's like pretty high because they're like, oh yeah, this was like this wasn't exactly
more work
my
than
thing.
I thought.
Yeah, and maybe that's kind of what happens here.
So she deceptions herself. She wakes up.
Yeah, she wakes up and she's like, oh my God, I've been in the what is it called? The void. What is it called when they go all the way down to the bottom?
Oh,
the beach.
Remember. I haven't seen this movie enough times to know. I've seen it like 2 or 3 times though, and every time I watch it, I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen this before. I'm always like, I gotta watch Inception. Then I watch it, and I'm like, whoa, I forgot. I've literally seen this like 3 times.
A lot of times. Yeah. It is really good. It's a really good film.
Yeah, he loves time.
He loves time.
My favorite Christopher Nolan movie is Interstellar. That's my favorite.
That's probably the best one, like critically.
I like Interstellar.
I gotta
rewatch
Dunkirk.
Dunkirk was good. I made a fake trailer for Dunkirk in college that was set to ABBA's SOS. But if you need me, darling, don't you see me, SOS? And I just like recut the trailer. When you gone. And it's like a very serious movie about like World War II, but I cut it to this like cool like song, and everyone was like, "That's pretty good."
Is it pronounced ABBA or ABBA? I have no idea.
I think it's ABBA. What did I say?
I think you said ABBA, but I thought it was ABBA.
I think it's ABBA.
Okay, that's either way. That band, my mom. I got to give all the credit to my mom.
She started that band.
She started ABBA. She was the A for a lady.
A lady.
We don't need the ending of this explained.
Oh, dude.
But
that's a market I should have got in on, just explaining basic ends to movies to just complete idiots that like leave the movie theater alone because they don't have friends. And they're like, what does the end of the movie mean?
Yeah.
I remember in college, this was a funny thing that happened to me in college. Do you remember like when video essays like popped off? Do you remember like when like the video essay?
Yeah.
There was this guy Nerd Writer, and he would make these like film and like other kind of things, but it was mostly film like video essays.
Is he the guy with like the glasses who has like Chrissy Marr on his podcast all the time?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think you really get to see his face that much.
Okay.
He might have a podcast now. He's much more irrelevant, but in like 2016, it was like his moment. And like everyone was popping out doing like video essays and like about like TV show, or like they would just take something and like write this like 25-minute video and explain something about it.
Right, like Scott the Woz.
He does that?
Yeah.
I don't know Scott the Woz.
He was like this little nerdy white kid who would just talk about like Nintendo lore.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys like that now too, like video game ones. And I remember in college, I went into my freshman year having already like known about like Nerdwriter and like watched all of his videos and I liked them. And then I would hang out with my two friends and then slowly realize that like they were just saying the opinions of Nerdwriter as if it was their own opinion. Yeah. And I was like, that's not like fact about the movie, what you're saying. Your opinion is, and I like realized it was like, oh, like this is not like I'm different, but I was just like, it's just funny how you guys are thinking that we all haven't seen what we've all seen this. Every like young guy who thinks he's artistic has seen this guy's videos.
Right.
That's his demographic. So it's like you to spew out what his opinion is to me like I don't know it is just very funny to me at the time. I remember being like, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut and not like call you out on this. But you're really just stealing another guy. But that's a lot of the fucking internet now too. Like you just go and you watch a review and then you repeat what you saw in the internet.
And then you go, that's cap. No, that's cap. Yeah. And you think you're saying something cool, but really you're just saying something that probably a black guy said a long time ago.
Right.
And we all looked at him and we're like, that guy's uneducated.
Right.
And then now we're the ones that are doing it.
Right.
So who's really educated? And who really needs the money?
I'm just going to let you keep going.
Anyway, I don't know if you saw this.
What is this?
This is a guy, Ted Nivision.
Ted
Nivision. We got a few comments on the last podcast.
They think this is you?
They think this is me. They think I'm Ted Nivision, but they forgot my nickname in high school was Pedovision
because everyone wanted to see your boy cock.
Because I could spot a domesticated animal from miles away.
Is that what you call pedophiles? Domesticated animals?
Yeah.
What is this?
So
I feel like I've seen this guy's videos before.
You probably had. He's wildly successful.
Yeah, what's the sub count? 2.2? Pretty good.
2.2
We're close.
million.
We're
getting there. So I'm hoping like we can leech a little bit from this tweet.
Oh, so they'll think it's you.
I can just pretend to be him. I need to like study his videos a little bit.
Oh yeah, someone did comment that. I thought, and then what was it like Peter Wong? And you were like, looks like Peter got this one.
Wong. Yeah, it was Terry Wong.
Terry Wong.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. This is like an opportunity. I think like in podcasts, sometimes they present these golden opportunities,
right?
Where now people think I'm Ted-O-Vision,
right?
And I can kind of milk that a little bit,
It's not Ted-O-Vision. It's Ted Nivision. It's not Ted-O-Vision.
But he kind of does like these like very like he does like review things.
Oh, these guys love watching like shitty movies. Like, I watched all 42 Barbie movies. You don't look like this guy. This guy looks vaguely Asian.
That's what I said. But I'll tell you, like, I mean, I never said that. I'll be honest, but I don't.
Say it to? I'm your only friend.
Yeah. I never said this, but I do think I don't look that much like him. I think it's just like when I have glasses and I don't have a beard. But
yeah, you should just tag it and put your name as Ted.
I'm gonna name the episode "Am I Ted-O-Vision?"
Yes,
because that could get some clicks, but also. This guy does look more like me than you look like me, and I've been confused for you before.
Right, and I've always had like a beard and been like a little taller than you, so it doesn't make sense why people got it. We talked about that after the last pod, like afterwards. We were like, what? It's like weird that like people would get us confused. It really made no sense.
It doesn't make any sense, but... You know, I always took it as a compliment. I was like, you know, James is a strapping young man.
Oh, thanks. Well, no, we're not done with Ted Nivision.
Well, here, I got this.
So we're gonna see.
Do you
what
remember?
Like.
Do you remember this guy?
Oh,
Anthony Padilla.
Yeah, I remember Anthony Padilla.
So he's like, he used to be part of Smosh.
Yeah, I remember. I was a big Smosh kid. And I would watch it on their website, and you could click through and just watch the videos in order.
Oh, yeah.
I was a big Smosh guy.
Smosh was great, but I always liked the other guy a little bit more.
Ian? Yeah. Ian. Well, Ian still has it. He still has Smosh. They still make videos. Okay. They do it completely different. Like, they became, like, Smosh Gaming and shit. Right. You gotta do something. I remember they, like, had a house that they shot in. Like, I used to watch their, like, vlogs. I was, like, big into Smosh as a kid. And then eventually it was, like, sort of implied that they don't actually live in that house. That's just the house they work out of. And I was like... I felt like frauded. I was like, what? You don't live in the house?
I thought they were like Bert and Ernie. Like they slept in like the same bed.
They were funny though. Like I always liked their videos and I didn't like the big ones. Like I didn't like their food battle ones where they would have like a churro fight a frosted donut. I was like, this It's a little reductive. I'm more of a Smosh purist.
Yeah.
You know?
I always liked when they had like mail and stuff. That was fun.
Yeah. I really like that channel. They did a good job.
But Anthony now, he's got, look at these.
Oh, he's got Hassanified.
He got Hassanified. He's personified as Hassan. He's got all these tattoos running up his neck and down his arm. And like,
is he gay now or something?
I don't know, because like you'll kind of see as we go through this. So there's Ted Nivision on the right.
You'd look great in that outfit. Maybe you should do.
I know. Maybe I should like
just
get like
steal his outfit.
Some of these pants that go a little floody.
Why does everyone like this video so much?
So
I guess I see it.
Do you see me in that?
I could see it, but you guys are do look different. But I could see it.
I'm a little jealous of Tedo because he's got. You can see he's got like what could be one day a nice beard. But
like
he's just like not. This is like if you have a face like this, where like you can clearly have a beard, but you shave it every day. That to me is the equivalent of being a woman with a bountiful bosom who gets it chopped off.
Really?
Yeah,
that's like, the equivalent. To you?
That's the equivalent. Exact equals.
I knew a girl who did that.
Really?
Yeah, but she had like back problems. Her boobs were so big.
That's always the excuse. You get back problems from doing anything,
right?
From just being alive, from sleeping wrong.
Yeah,
I've had back problems my entire life. So this says he has 1.88, but we know that now it's 2.
I also knew a girl. Sorry, I also knew a girl who said she was thinking about it, and we were all like, "She doesn't have big enough boobs to need that." Like, why is she talking like she needs it?
Yeah.
It was pretty. It was like a funny. Like we all left the party, and we're like, I think she's okay.
Well, like, can't they do this? Because I'd imagine a real tit weighs more than a fake one. Can't they just get like a replica, but like fill it with like feathers or something?
Helium,
yeah. So they're always perky. They're just pointing like straight up. Ah! Sorry, guys.
Sorry, I'm floating, guys.
And then she's like, "Does anyone want to take a hit?" Wow, that's nice tits.
But this one has nitrous in it for Michael Good.
So Anthony, he's got the whole hair thing. I don't know how. I've never been able to get these like.
There's something that happens when you make a lot of money doing something and then you stop doing it. So he has like a guy who started like a startup that like helps Uber drivers, manage their funds or something. Like he invented some obscure app and then doesn't do anything. But his thing is Smosh. So he got like the chain. He's wearing better fashion because like this is like. What is it called? This is what a guy who's getting paid off dividends from his stock ownership wears.
Right.
Like this is what he does. You get some tattoos. You get even like Chris D'Elia kind of had something when he had this big famous thing, and then once he got canceled, he started getting like neck tattoo of an eagle. Yeah. And then he's like wearing shit like this, and he like always kind of dressed like that. But it is funny how like. This is like a guy who's like past his prime, but still trying to look cool.
Yeah, well, he's got the. It's the look of like someone who was maybe molested when they were a kid, like the Bieber kind of look. Because I'm not saying that he did get molested, but I think doing Smosh for 7 years is kind of the equivalent of being molested, in a way that you're kind of trapped in this child's mentality.
Yeah, either being molested or becoming a child star, it does solidify your face. Like look at Haley Joel Osment. He looks weird because we all remember him as a child.
Right.
And we're looking for the little boy in Haley's eyes. But all we find is Joel.
Yeah. Is that what that song is? I seen Haley's calling.
There's a fucking little boy. He can see dead people. And what other movies is he in?
Now he's in Silicon Valley. He's in that new movie, Blink Twice. Did you ever see that?
No.
It's pretty good. I recommend it.
Okay.
It's like a real like go women movie. And usually when I see one of those, I go click. But
as in watch now.
As in save to favorites. But they did it well. They did it like it was like creepy. What's his name? Tatum Channing's is in it.
Tatum Channing.
Tatum Channing.
Dude. That's so funny.
Yeah, so you think I could pull off this look?
Give me little waters.
I think you
cleaned
have
up
some
this
decent
one.
shoe game,
Yeah.
as I've
Can we get
known
one more,
you.
please?
See, look at. I was dry
And-
when I first showed up.
Damn.
That's
There
the
you are.
progression right there.
You do that
We wanna
too?
see
I
that
don't
on
sweat
camera?
like
This-
that from my armpits. I sweat like that from my hair.
Really?
Or not my hair, my hands. my hair. But that's like, I think that's just because they're on this set with all these lights.
You're like you know, like Steve Urkel goes into builds a machine and goes into it, and he emerges as Stefan Urkel. No. Yeah, Steven Urkel goes in and he emerges as a cooler version. Like, that's Steve Urkel. He goes in the machine, he emerges as Stefan.
So you think I'm cooler than Ted
Yeah,
Nivision?
dude, this guy eats at every fucking Margaritaville in the country. At least you're making a podcast where you're racist. This guy doesn't have the balls.
I guess not, but he's got. So I guess he took like a 400 milligram edible.
Wow.
That's an edible?
For probably clear
No,
reasons.
like
but
in a
I love
pass.
it.
This is the medicated version.
No, man, it's not.
There's something underneath.
Why
That
is
side of
Anthony
your
Padilla fucking
Are you
Oprah?
hiding
He
shit?
keeps having
Are you
snacks
hiding more
underneath the
nerds?
chair.
What's wrong with you? Why does everyone like this video so much? I didn't even intend on
I don't
making
know,
it
but
like a
something
video.
about Anthony creeps me out a little bit. It's like he's just got the perfect kind of look, and he's got that active jaw. You know that active jaw?
Those
that's
are like the
kinda
worst tattoos I've ever seen. It looks like
They're pretty bad.
It looks like he escaped the pencil factory.
Yeah, it does.
Like, it doesn't really, and he's got this. He is fully Hassanified.
It does look like he was like a child, or he got like drawn on by a child.
Yeah,
because
like
they
he
thought
let
it was
his
like
son
the
and then-
wall.
He's
yeah.
like, I'm gonna get what my kid drew on me tattooed on me.
Yeah,
because I respect him. Well, he's a child. He doesn't even really understand the concept of a man's respect.
yeah. Like imagine being mementoed, and you look down and you see all this, and you're like, oh, I guess
that
I'm
map
a
or
fucking
something?
retard.
What the fuck does this mean? You get memento, you lose your memory, so you start tattooing shit on yourself, but you just keep pranking the next guy. Like, you're gay.
Yeah.
I go, fuck a guy,
Guy
I guess. I
now,
have
yeah.
25 minutes to do this.
Yeah. 25 minutes. That would be the one nice thing about being mementoed is that you do have short-term memory loss. You're like, I could just fuck a guy.
Yeah.
And if I didn't like it, I would completely forget about the experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's my refrigerator.
Yeah. Sounds like a dog getting crushed.
But
There is something unsettling about him. Whereas like Ian has been able to preserve his status as like just like a likable guy. There's something like about like because I think Anthony left Smosh. I think that was the whole
he
thing.
did, and he cried. I remember he cried. There was a video, and it was like why I left Smosh, and it was one of those like pictures where he's like, you know, where they're like, yeah, exactly. And then I saw a couple of his other videos. He's crying in as well. So there's some like deep emotion in Padilla here that I might have to start watching some of his videos to try to get back into it. But I will say I'm a big fan of Ted Nivision.
You like him?
I like him. He seems like a chill guy. You know,
He's someone more famous's friend.
yeah,
He-
he's like a part of something else.
Yeah,
isn't he?
that's how I saw him because he was like in a video with someone else, and I remember I saw some of his videos from that. Like I watched him do something with the Margaritaville thing. He went to every Margaritaville in the country.
Oh, okay.
But he does it. I think he did that with this guy. I think it's Eddie Burback.
Eddie Bravo,
Eddie Bravo. Who's Eddie Bravo?
the guy who thinks the world is flat.
Oh yeah, the guy who keeps going on Joe Rogan and making everyone uncomfortable. Yeah, I think he did that with that guy who looks like if this is Luigi, Burback looks like the Mario.
Oh,
Like, he's
okay.
got a mustache and is shorter, but I think he's like in it, but I don't think he grew like on his own volition. And I'm not dissing Ted here. I just think he was like a smaller YouTuber with a bunch of smaller YouTubers, and then he just kind of gets that like runoff shit. And like he's probably trying to do his own thing, but
Maybe he's a part of Smosh, like maybe like a part of the that like bigger group of Smosh, you know, when they had like more people.
yeah.
But
Yeah, I know what
I
you're
don't
talking
know the origin story of Ted Nivision. I'm gonna have to look into him.
Yeah. Well, he's doing well for himself. Good for Ted.
Yeah, good for Ted. And Ted, listen, you're welcome on the podcast.
Ted, come sit in the bed. Come sit between us.
You know what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put like a glass mirror around you,
And put Ted on it.
and so it'll just look like me. Like, and I'll say it's Ted, and then you'll be on the inside, Wizard of Oz style,
Right.
just dishing out all of the licks, those hot licks.
AI Ted over me.
Yeah, Miku Ted.
Miku Ted. Tedku.
Tedku. But anyway, yeah, Ted, you know, I'm glad that we're
Ted, hit the vape,
doppelgangers.
dude.
Just hit the vape.
Speaking of hitting the vape.
Yeah, I'm off the vape.
Patty has quit the vape.
I can finally let my mom watch the podcast.
He can't go another day without having something that he's quit.
And you know what I
So
realized?
he gave up on quitting jerking off, and in exchange to his God,
good exchange.
he's decided to quit vaping.
I have. So now I'm a Zyn guy.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I want to like shove something in my mouth. That's like the big fixation I have. So
You should become a toothpick guy.
I could become a toothpick guy. I was also thinking about getting like a very cartoonishly large carrot.
That'd be fun.
That would be pretty fun. And just kind of snapping off some.
You're on a date with a girl. You're like, oh, sorry, I gotta go outside real quick. And
I gotta hit this carrot.
do you mind if I take a little? What's like a thing
sorry,
that wouldn't reveal that you're eating a carrot? Do you mind if I take? I just gotta step outside real quick. And she looks out the window, and you're just gnawing a giant carrot, and you're exhaling like you're doing something.
Yeah. What's up, Doc? I'm just exhaling. What's up, Doc?
Dude. Docking. Hey, docking. That's gay comedy. Hey, comedy.
Were you ever a GTA guy? Did you ever get into that?
Not a lot. I do like it, but I'm not a huge GTA guy. I think GTA 5 to me was maybe like the cutoff where I started to stop paying attention, because I had 3 Liberty City one on the PS2. Like years later, my mom decided I could play a game where I have guns and hookers. Like she would only let me play like Batman games and shit.
And she's like, it's about time we let James
have a hooker
around the house.
And then I really wanted it. I always wanted it because I like the idea of like the open world. I always like that. I like being able to just do what I want to do. And then I played 4 and I didn't really love it. I thought it was good, but I didn't love it. And then I didn't really get into 5. I would like play 5 with like other people. Like and I liked it, but it wasn't something that I like lost myself in.
I guess like
and 6 is exciting though.
6 looks exciting.
You have to get 6 because we live in the state that it is set in.
Oh, that's true.
That's the funnest part. They were in St. Pete shooting promo commercials for GTA 6.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like they did like a whole get up, like a POV thing, where he's walking near where the pier is. So they must have stuff from actual St. Pete.
There must be. I think like, imagine I should just get GTA 6 and then just find my house and just live in it.
That's great.
And just do the exact same thing.
You like set up the podcast.
Do you remember the game Second Life?
No.
That was like this big online game that people would play religiously.
Yeah. This was like people go on Dr. Phil because they had like ruined their lives on Second Life.
Yeah, because they lived this second life where they were like a bachelor in a city and they could kind of do whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if we were to look at that now, I don't have it pulled up, but it would probably look terrible. Because this was like when graphics, like this is when like Neopets was like the biggest game.
Yeah, Neopets is just 2D images.
Yeah, and I thought that was too realistic.
Yeah, I was a big Toontown kid.
Toontown was cool.
I played Toontown with my child friend Bryce, and we would sit on the phone because we didn't like it. It was like
there was no Discord.
There was no way to talk to someone. So I would just sit on the phone with Bryce and play Toontown, and he would get really mad at me because I was bad.
You're bad at tuning.
I mean, I guess I
around.
was bad. I got better, but I was like, this is embarrassing.
Yeah, I used to go watch my neighbor play Toontown. I would go over to his he lived in a trailer at the end of the street, and when his dad wasn't
he lost
home,
the house because of Toontown money.
Yeah.
I'm spending all my money on these goddamn pies.
Yeah. I'm trying to get a Goofy outfit.
But his dad's really into it too.
Yeah, his dad was like a little bit abusive, so like his mom would like let him play Toontown to like drown out the sounds of like abuse, I guess.
Yeah.
So like I would go and hang out. There were all these houses that I would hang out at that I like look back on. I'm like, this was like I should have called the police on this family, you know?
Yeah, my neighborhood kids had horrible lives, and like my life was pretty okay. And I would like go into their houses, and like you couldn't even get through the front door without stepping over like disgusting trash.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it like smelled like cat piss.
But they always had the best snacks.
They had great snacks, and they always let the kids play whatever video games they wanted.
Yes, yeah.
And I remember being always like, oh, I wish I could do this. And then like a year later, and like from 3rd grade to 4th grade, when I was in 4th grade, I was like, it seems like the sacrifice is not worth it.
It's not worth it.
Because dude, like, why do these parents who like don't even really take care of their kids insist on having like 11 pets?
Yeah.
That's like a weird thing that I noticed. Like they always had like so many. Like they'd have like an intricate pet, like a tarantula.
Yeah. And they would always have a big TV too.
Huge ass TV.
Like big TV. There would be like just piles of like wet clothes on the ground. And like the mother was always, and they would let you play GTA and Halo and stuff because like it's actually, it pales in comparison to what's going on in like their bedroom and kitchen,
right,
you know?
Right.
So that was the vacation for them. But the other games were like, remember Millsbury?
Where it was the cereal?
Yeah.
You remember that game?
Of course I remember that game.
Really?
You had to like,
I played that game.
You had to like use a code on your like, corn pops.
And you would play like little mini games.
Yeah.
And it was all based around the cereal people.
And you were just trying to be like the hottest kid.
Oh yeah.
In all of Millsbury.
Oh yeah. I remember I played a lot of games like that. Like there was a time where my mom paid for Club Penguin. Club Penguin was pretty fun.
Club Penguin was good.
All
of these games were just a cesspool for pedovisions. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I went to a couple igloos with some older men.
Oh yeah, dude.
Saw some puffles. I probably shouldn't.
Hey,
have
let me see that.
age.
Let me see that sardine.
Hey man, I flipped the iceberg with a couple of older guys. I did what I had to do to get those fish. You know, I needed some market exchange.
Exactly,
dude. It was rough times on the Penguin Island.
It was. That game was like a little crazy because you could just say whatever you wanted, right? There was like a chat function.
You could, but you would get banned if you said like a curse word or sex. You would get banned for like 24 hours.
Yeah, that's probably good.
Yeah,
24
I used to get
hours.
But I loved Club Penguin. I remember Club Penguin, like when they develop shit to be actually good. So I like watched like this video where they explained like what Club Penguin was, and it was like this guy just like was always very. The guy who invented Club Penguin, he was just like, it's like a fun place for kids to interact on the internet.
Yeah.
And like it's safe and it's just games. And then he sold it to Disney, and Disney just like fucked it in the ass.
Yeah.
They started charging people so they could look like their Iron Man penguin. And it was just like everything was a microtransaction, and they just fucked this thing that you could play a pretty significant amount of it free.
Mm-hmm.
What I remember I paid for, like there was this whole thing that they did with like a spy thing. Do you have any memory of this? Were you a Club Penguin kid?
No.
They did this whole thing where there was a spy organization that you could secretly find in one of the things, and then you end up in this like whole other mission where you're like riding around, and then like at a certain point you like end up like stranded in the middle of the wilderness, and you have to like walk around and like figure out how to survive, and like this whole thing that was just hidden in the game.
Yeah.
And it was just like they did a good job, and then like, you know, you eventually you have to sell it, you know, you want to make some money on it, and you just hope for the best.
Yeah, I never got into Club Penguin. I was more of a Neopets guy. I used to really like that.
I wasn't big into Neopets. I was big into Pop Tropica as well.
I remember Pop Tropica. This was like all around the time that I looked up boobs.com.
Yeah.
Like, because like when you're first like, you know, figuring stuff out, you just kind of like go to the what you think is the source.
How did you find out what porn was? Was that like an older sibling thing?
It was like my older sibling was my sister, so she was like
weird.
not trying to. Yeah, she was like very by the book,
right?
But no, it was on like in 7th grade. It was on like the football bus. This guy was like, you have to. The first videos you learn about in porn are like 2 girls, 1 cup,
right?
Trailer hitch, bitch.
I never saw trailer hitch, bitch. Does she put the trailer hitch in her bitch?
Oh, she does. She puts a condom on it first.
Oh,
that was the first time I ever saw a condom in my life.
Really?
Was in trailer hitch, and she had like piercing like rings around like her labia.
Oh god.
So it looked like it was like a sarlacc pit coming from the sky, scooping up Boba Fett. He was covered in
Condom.
the goo of Jabba the Hutt.
Oh my god!
But
A kid
it
on
was
my middle
disgusting.
school bus had condoms. I remember he was like, "Yeah, they're flavored," and we were all like, "You're not. What are you gonna do?
What are you
with
gonna
them?
suck your own dick?
You're gonna just suck on some condoms?" He was like, "Yeah, you got to get the flavored ones. That's what girls like."
That was like one of the first joke I told when I did, the what was it, the Broadway Comedy Club thing?
Oh yeah,
The audition. I did
industry room.
the industry room. The first joke I told was like, I don't understand the point of flavored condoms. Why is my ass supposed to taste like strawberry?
Did they like that?
They loved it. And then I got a call from fucking Rich, the owner of Broadway Comedy Club, and he's like, your set was great, except get rid of that first joke. And I said, kindly, Rich, I think you're a pedophile. I said, sure. And then I didn't do that joke at the other things, and like, it didn't go well. I was like, I needed that joke.
Yeah.
It was a funny joke. Why is that not acceptable at a comedy club?
You got some shows out of the industry room?
I got 3 spots.
Yeah, I think I got like 3 or 4 or something.
Yeah.
But I remember it being like, the only people I ever knew that were able to consistently go up in those rooms are people that worked at the club.
Yes.
Like people who like were doing the waiters
Yeah.
shift and shit. And like, I just never loved that experience.
No.
Now that I'm going up at like the clubs down here that I get to go up at,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is my zone. I like the bar
Yeah.
show idea where you get a maximum of like 40 people. Typically it's like 15 to 20 people.
Yeah.
And you're performing for them in like a back room of a place, or like in the Sunshine or Clearwater Club. It's like a small, like a mid-sized club. This idea of this insanely large room, and I'm like trying to adapt material to it. Like I prefer it. I like a room of 20 people.
Yeah.
I like that.
The Broadway experience is like you walk in, you have to sit in this back room where there's just like a bunch of like liquor bottles being stored.
Yeah, which is
then, like-
wine, by the way. It's not real liquor.
Right,
It
right.
was wine that was flavored like whiskey because they lost their liquor license.
Yeah, and then there's like this bitchy
Allegedly.
woman who's just like yelling at you
Yep.
because you're late, but you got there 15 minutes before the show starts and you're on 7th. And she's like, you're supposed to be here. I'm like, okay, whatever. You seem miserable. I forget her name. I would say her name if I could remember it, but she's an evil woman. And then you sit back there and you wait. And then like people like Mike Vecchione and like Shaolin Summers show up and they do like a spot. And they're like very unenthusiastic because they don't want to do that club either. And then you go up and you like pour your heart into the crowd and you look out and you realize it's like just a bunch of families who spent all day at like Legoland
Yep.
and are realizing that they're getting ripped off
Yep.
ridiculously.
They're realizing that Chappelle is not showing up. Jim Gaffigan's not showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My industry room tape was great. I did really good. And I remember when he was like trying to underwhelm it, I was like, that's the best. I saw the tape after, and I remember looking at it and putting it on my YouTube page, not public, just private, and like being like, this is one of my best performances ever. Even to
Yeah.
now, I would say it's like in the top 5 shows I've ever done.
Wow.
And so for him to do that, it's like for him to call me up, because if you don't know, this is Broadway Comedy Club in New York. This is how they do it, by the way. You go to one of their open mics that are secretly hidden all around town, and someone goes, like this guy, I forget his name, but he hosts at Greenwich Village Comedy
He's
Club.
a gay guy.
He's a gay guy
who's
and
jacked
and he
at
asked
70
me
years
if I
old.
was gay. And I was like, no. And he was like, okay, well, you should do the industry room because it's a good way to get yourself to the next level. And I remember being like going to Mike and Aditya, who were people who had already been doing stand up in New York, and being like, I got this opportunity. And they're like, no, everyone gets this. I was
Yeah.
like, oh no. And then so I decided to do it. I waited like a year and I decided to do it, and I got some of my friends to come out. And then by the way, they have to pay $25 for the ticket, and then they have to buy 2 drinks when they sit down, and
Right.
the drinks are incredibly overpriced.
So your friends are pissed at you.
Oh yeah, they just paid $50 to help me.
Yeah.
Like that's a big ask, but like the whole thing was like, you do it for me, I'll do it for you. That's how it exchanges.
Right, right.
And then I go up. Everyone was so bad. Everyone who was there, I maybe knew
Yeah.
some of them. One of them was like a pair of twins. Like everyone was so bad.
It's a lot of people doing stand up for the first time in their life.
Yep.
Because that's how they think it has to go. They don't go to an open mic where they can just be like, okay, is this something I'm interested in? They get something ready and they go and they're like, the first time in my life I want to do comedy for 200 people.
Yep.
And it doesn't go well.
No.
And the crowd slowly just flocks out of the room as the show goes on.
Oh yeah, there was like a fight during my set. That one of my friends who were sitting in the back, they were like, "Yeah, there was a big fight back here, but nobody seemed to notice up front where you were performing because it was just in the back."
Yeah, it's like,
and then so you do your
cafeteria.
show, and I did great. You do 5 minutes. Everyone does 5 minutes, and Troy Bond hosts it, and he brings everyone up, and then like, you know, there's a set up top, there's a set at the back or whatever. And then you get this tape. And then also what you realize about the tape is it's just the microphone you're talking into.
Right.
It's not like a mic on the crowd. But if you're doing really well, it picks up on the mic that you're holding.
Yeah.
So I managed to realize that I did very well because I had watched other people's industry room tapes on YouTube, and it's quiet. And I'm doing very good. Like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. It's a lot of my early material like that I had formulated, and like some stuff I don't do anymore, and some stuff has just changed. But I remember the call, because then he calls you, the booker, and then he tells you you're not very good to make you do it again. So they're already making $50 off 5 people, and you paid $20 for the tape. So it's like $250 plus how much money you paid for the tape, and then they want you to do it again. They want to make like a cool $500 to $600 off of you.
Yeah.
Just to like get a chance to get past this club. And then as a consolation prize that must have happened after people started to realize they were getting scammed, is they throw you like 3 to 10 spots across the clubs that they have.
And you gotta do, and a lot of them are at Greenwich Comedy Club, which is like, I don't even know, that's like where
all of mine were at Broadway.
Diarrhea was invented. I'm thinking back on it, what we should have done is we should have told a joke and then went like, just picked up the mic, or picked up the laughter in the audience.
Yeah, that would have been a great move.
But yeah, that's like, it was such a
I remember like
nightmare.
when the shows were like fine. Like I remember I did one at Broadway, and they had oversold the room, and they sat people on the stage behind me.
Oh my god!
Like, what are these people's experience?
Yeah, yeah.
Why
They're
would
like
you
on
sit them
stage,
on the stage?
and they're sitting there, and there's like their like legs and stuff are visible.
Yes,
I would be mortified if I went to a comedy show. And not only are the lights on me, but you can just see my legs.
Oh yeah,
like it
was
like,
insane.
They
dude.
know what you're laughing at. They know what you're not laughing at. It's terrible.
Yeah, and people were like hanging around trying to get up there, and I realized I was like, I don't like this room at all, and I'm not gonna like hang around. Like I don't see a path that goes through Broadway to the Comedy Cellar.
No,
that path goes. You start stand up, you do some shows, you get a podcast or clips that blow up, and then you start to get these other rooms.
Yeah, the way to the Comedy Cellar is you're a person who has experiences in other countries, and you talk about the difference between America and other countries and why America is worse. And you get tepid laughter, and you're an attractive person, and then you get passed at the Comedy Cellar.
Oh, dude, I saw something I've never seen before. I've seen it, but I haven't seen it like this before. I show up to Clearwater Comedy Club on, I guess it was Tuesday night, and the room is packed. And I'm like, oh, wow, why are there so many people here on a Tuesday night? And I'm going up like 3 comics down, and I meet this guy. I'm not going to say his name because I don't know him enough to hate on him. Like, I like to know someone to know that I hate him. And, he's like a guy. He's got like rings on and a mustache and like a cool hat, and his shirt's like open a little bit. And then it
was Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, it was Captain Jack Sparrow. And so he's gonna bring me up, and so I'm watching his set, and his set's like okay. It's like it's not like he's like a newer comic,
right?
But he's like got like a handsome look to him, which like I don't know if the News from Bed audience notices. Like I don't have like an incredibly like attractive TikTok-esque man look, and then I'm up on stage closing the show, and I'm doing like I'm performing. This is my experience now bombing. This is what bombing is for me. I'm maintaining pace. I'm doing what I always do. But if they're not getting there, I have to change things to get them. But I don't think that my performance has faltered. You know what I mean? I'm not like giving up on my jokes or my set because it's not going great.
Right.
But then slowly over my set, I'm realizing everyone here is like a 19-year-old woman. And after the show, they're like, he barks for the club. And he always gets like 10 young girls to come to the show.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay. And then we're sitting outside after the show, and this group of girls come out, and they go, where you said if we come to the show, you would take your shirt off. And then he goes, yeah, okay. And so he takes his shirt off, and then he's like, they're like, can we get a picture? And so they take a picture with this guy, and I'm not dogging on the guy, but it's like, this is like what people like hate on Matt Rife about. Like girls are liking him because he's handsome or whatever. But you're like taking your shirt off and you're taking pictures with the girls. And
is he like famous?
No, he's an open micer. He has like,
God.
I don't even think I'd say he has 5 minutes. Like I wouldn't even say he had the.
But like
5
he doesn't
minutes that
have like
did.
a TikTok following.
I mean,
or
I looked
anything?
at his Instagram. He doesn't have like a thing.
That's crazy.
He's just like a handsome guy who gets the girls to come to the show. And again, like I'm grateful for the audience, but I just was like, I never saw like the hot guy comedy thing like that.
Yeah.
That like transparent and that close up. And it was very interesting. It was a very interesting experience because I'm also like, I'm 28. I'm sitting there. I'm not like fuming with jealousy, wishing I was him because like I don't.
No, you're.
I don't
Just
pine for 20-year-old women.
You're realizing that our dream of stand-up has died long ago.
Yes,
and it's never going to be the way it is because we live in basically like a reverse China situation right now, where there's just not enough hunks, I guess, to go around.
I guess so.
And the mentality of these young women has been so tainted by social media that they now turn into like young women are like the new 70-year-old men.
Really?
Or like 60-year-old
Can be
men.
manipulated by media.
They're just like the same reaction you would get from a 60-year-old guy if it was a girl barking. If it was like Rebecca Reingold barking, and she's like, "I'm going to take my top off if you come to the show."
Right.
It'd be like, "Hey guys, let's
Right.
get
like,
in there."
Like it was like, but yeah, it's like, what did they think was going to happen? Like if I was a young man walking along the beach of Clearwater and someone like a hot woman tries to bark me in,
Yeah, that would.
I don't
immediately...
see it as an angle into banging the woman.
No.
I mean, women actually, when it's a guy and women are getting barked in, I'm sure it's different. And they say he's like great at barking people in, but like,
but now you know why.
but I was like, wow, like I guess I put it all together like Memento. I was just like, oh, like the crowd is so young and I'm making like jokes that like they don't like get. And they're like not drinking because they're all clearly like either just at or just below drinking
Yeah,
age.
and they're just waiting for this guy to take his shirt
And
off.
I'm like, oh, and then afterwards I'm like, this is why the crowd looks like this. Like the people who are like 35 and 40 that are like the 1/3 of the audience are having a nice time with my set. And the 2/3 of the audience that are like sorority aged college girls are not. And I'm like, first of all, I was actually happy to not like be appealing to them. I'm actually grateful that like adults can find me happy, like or funny now, because like I'm not like a little boy on stage.
Yeah.
But it was just like, wow, man, like you. That's just a fuse that runs out fast, though.
Yeah, it is.
It's not a thing that's gonna last.
I just got an idea for our Memento thing when you were talking. It should be called Mementos.
Because it's the toe lovers.
And I'll write all the things on my feet.
That's great. There we go. Write it down. That's great.
Because I'll be like, I always look at my feet every morning because they're so perfect for some reason or another.
Yeah. There you go, dude.
We're kind of hitting the end of the road here.
Oh yeah, well we were going to talk about GTA, right? What did you have anything you want to talk about with
Not
it?
really. Oh, I guess this article basically is just saying the game is going to be like $100.
Yeah, I assume that.
And I think, honestly, that's fine. I know people are freaking out, but it's like they've put more money into this game than the new Rays stadium. We'll hear a little transition here. Than they were planning to put into the new.
About this. I was just reading about it.
Yeah, dude. So they're not doing the new stadium.
No, I think they're actually going to ship the team off to somewhere else.
You think so? They're not going to play in St. Pete?
I think they'll play this next season, and then they'll sell it, and then the team will get sold off to like Montreal or something.
Damn, dude.
That's what I think's going to happen. As a Tampa sports insider, it seems like the Rays are not going to be around.
It kind of makes sense, though. I mean, if they're not like filling out the stadium, they have a good team. But it's really kind of sad to see because this was going to be my first year in St. Pete, kind of soaking in the local team here.
I like Tropicana Field. I think it's a cool field.
Yeah,
it's got
great.
a great vibe. They did a good job with it. I think people who hate on it hate that they have to drive to St. Pete, but it's like, okay, I mean, this is half of the city that you live in, though.
Exactly. Listen, in New York, we lived in upstate New York, and we would have to go to the Bronx to watch the Yankees, and we would gladly do it whenever we could.
Yeah.
Because that was the team, and it's not like you walk out into the Bronx and you're like New York City. You're like, no, I hope I wore enough thick clothing.
Obviously,
to protect
you
myself.
want Rays fans, but like the appeal of the Rays in a place like Florida is that you all moved here from the Northeast or like Midwest. So come to Rays Stadium and watch the Rays play the team you already love.
Yes,
That's the appeal of the Rays being here, is that it's almost like a tourist attraction. That the Rays can be good in their own right. I mean, in like 2006 or 2008 or something, they like won the World Series. Like they've done it before. But it's just I don't know. I mean, I don't think it makes the Hurricanes fucked them. I mean, this all would have just gone through like no problem if there wasn't a problem with them having to fix the stadium they already had. That really fucked it.
Right.
But I don't think they needed a new stadium. I think it's a misallocation of the taxpayer dollars. They got a great deal from the city, and it's like, why are we giving a multi-billion-dollar corporation a great deal? So I just think it was a little bit fraught from the beginning. And I listened to an interview that my old boss did with one of the council members who was voting against it. And he was like, why are you voting against it? And he was like, because we need money to like reinforce the beaches that keep getting destroyed by the hurricanes.
Right.
We literally have real things we need to do. And they want to build like a Jamba Juice in Rays Stadium in the new one. Like they did, like it's just not gonna do what they think it's gonna do.
Yeah, what couldn't they just upgrade the current one with
think that's what's gonna happen now.
Yeah, put some better restaurants in there, make it a little more of like a scene, because like it is very family friendly and stuff, and like I get that. But like all you have to do is put some amenities in there, like even like a little bit of like a kind of like a nightlife kind of scene in there, where people can go to the game. And then afterward, there's like a thing that they can all like hang out in.
Well, the thing is, it's right in the middle of downtown. You can cross the street and go to Ferg's and go to 11 different cooled bars. You're right there. You don't need it in the stadium.
Right.
You don't need it to be going into Stu Sternberg's pocket for it to be something that's viable.
Right.
The whole thing is like he was already probably going to sell the team over the next couple of years. So it just... it's just a frustrating situation because, I mean, this is all this is definitely part of the reason I got laid off in November too. Is like, well, where the fuck are they going to play? You're not if we're based in St. Pete and they don't play in St. Pete, like all those things come into factor on this. So I don't know. It's just a bummer. I think the Rays, I don't think like the Rays get bought and then stay here though. I think the Rays get bought and then shipped off to like, fucking a different city that doesn't have a team.
What if they change their name to like the Octopi? And they got a big octopus tank. Because like right now, the only thing is the Ray tank. That's like
they're still in there.
The entire, but like I think people are tired of touching like a stingray.
So you want to touch an octopus?
An octopus, maybe a sheep. Something that's got a little more texture to it.
Have you ever felt a stingray?
I have.
How was it?
It's fine. It's like slimy. It's like an eel.
Like a flat eel.
I think you need to find something that has more of a tactile feel.
Well, they changed it to rays to be more like a sun ray. It was the devil rays, but now it's more like the rays of the sun. So that was.
Isn't there like a rule that if you say devil rays, you have to like buy someone a drink or something like that?
Not that I've ever encountered.
Oh, dude.
They did update it in a cool way. Like there was this thing where you walk, there's like all these coolers on a wall in a room, and you tap your card when you walk in, and cameras track what beer you get. You just tap your card, grab a beer.
Oh yeah,
and leave.
Barclays Center had that.
Yeah, they have shit like that.
I remember I was like so fucked up on mushrooms, and they're like, there's all those things, and they're
at
like,
the Strokes concert.
Yeah, and I was like just trying to get like an orange juice, and they were like, yeah, just like go pick one out, and I was like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah.
And the lady had to spend like 5 minutes explaining to me, and like I walked.
Do you know what is camera?
Yeah, I was like,
is capture
there's
images?
cameras on me right now. Like, what am I, Mac DeMarco?
Yeah.
And then like I had to walk through and like pick something out, and like I like did like a dance in there and like high five the lady on the way out.
I don't
She was
remember
like,
any of this.
because that's all standard to them. And then when I went back to the Barclays Center, I did not do that again. That's like the least pleasant experience. Like, I want to like talk to a guy,
Right.
have him crack open a Diet Coke and hand it
Yeah.
to me.
I want to eat. I want to watch a guy put soft serve in a miniature baseball helmet.
Exactly.
I don't know. Yeah, man. I
But-
mean, we're gonna have to become Rowdies fans, the soccer team.
Oh God, I hate soccer.
Really, I like the Rowdies.
I hate
It's a
it.
cool thing to go to, though. You know, the same owner as the Rays, the Rowdies.
Okay.
But it's a nice time. When I was
Yeah.
working for the station down here, they did a group outing where we were field side, which is actually the worst angle to watch soccer from. You can't tell how
Yeah.
far or close the ball is.
Yeah.
But they had like all you can drink beers and like hot dogs and shit.
That's
I just
cool.
got fucked up.
Yeah, I can't get into soccer. When I was a kid, I played soccer and I would just keep getting asthma attacks. That's what they should call themselves, the Tampa Bay asthma attacks.
And you can go into there's a tank full of wheezing children.
Yeah, there's a tank full of nebulizer.
Yeah. So anyway,
But I don't know. They're going to have to figure something out. But thoughts and prayers with the Rays. But anyway, James, we've hit the
my
end
heart
of
goes out to you, Ryan Pepio, my
Ryan-
good friend and customer.
Dallas Archer. Isn't that one of their names?
I don't know. I only know Ryan Pepio.
Sterling
He
Archer.
used to come into the radio station, and now I make his burritos.
Did you put a little extra Pepio in
I
there?
give him a 10% discount. I said, that's for people who work local, and I wink at him, and he goes, I don't really need a discount. I'm an MLB pitcher. I don't really need you to give me 10% off a burrito.
Well, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
But anyway, that's the end, dude. We made it to the end. Thank you, guys.
Hey, guys, just one final reminder before we leave. Things are
different now. Good night.